Wait for her now, cause I ain't got a quorum,
Yeah.
which is fine with me. I can go home.
Please don't.
Please no.
Yes, or we could get a recess after the
Yeah, let's just
administrative deal.
Yeah, let's just do that and get that out.
Get this out the way. Okay, we'll call the administrative committee, call to order. Just please stand for the invocation. Oh, gracious Lord, thank you for preparing us to make it to this meeting, oh Lord. We ask you to give us the wisdom and the guidance, oh Father, to lead the parish and to make the honest and fair decision that we can possibly give, oh Lord. In your son's names, amen. Amen. Follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
President report, none. Legal counsel absent. Any call for additions and deletions to the administrative meeting? None. Any guests and public comments on the administrative meeting? Administrative item, please. Want me to go ahead?
I got it. I didn't have a copy of it. All right, administrative items. Number one, authorize the president to sign a resolution approving a payment in lieu of tax agreement in accordance with a term sheet, requesting the Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority enter into said payment in lieu of tax agreement and providing for other matters with respect therewith. Grocery store.
I make the motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Lathan, second by Mr. Clark. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
What's this now?
This for the portion of the display what he gave Mr. Bagley. Gave the presentation on the grocery store in Stonewall for the tax abatement.
That mean we'll be passing this? What does that mean?
Yes, that means that we'll be giving him a tax credit.
A tax break? That's his land they gonna build this on, right?
I have no idea. Yes, I'm assuming it's his land.
That land will be sold off to Harps. We won't be reaping the proceeds from the tax benefit at all. And this is all future revenue. This isn't revenue or future tax basis, future money that you don't get at all right now, basically. I don't see any of it.
I don't know about this. I think we need to look into this
It's
further.
the same basic thing that we did for
Solar.
the business there on 84 and 171.
Except we don't want any money from you.
It's also the same.
In the
type
seamless
we did with
project
the-
also.
Huh?
In the seamless project, the old foundry.
Yeah.
This is, this,
Them jobs, they supposed to bring quite a few jobs.
And this one's bringing jobs
So
too.
we just giving this to this grocery store, that's what y'all saying?
yes, ma'am. That's for the grocery store. That's gonna be coming up there.
I know, I'm saying, who getting the tax break?
The grocery store. Yes, ma'am.
As we discussed prior, is it economically wasn't viable, and so these tax credits would allow them to come and put a grocery store now.
Where are the grocery store people?
Harps?
Where are the
They're in
representatives for the
Springdale,
grocery?
Arkansas. That's
Huh?
where their headquarters are. They're in Springdale, Arkansas.
I'm saying, why haven't they come here and requested
They have,
this?
they've come to zoning meetings before. This one was a special committee meeting that we were pretty much, told about last week. They couldn't make it. They have no problem with being present in front of you, Jimmy.
Well, they weren't here last time either, were they?
No, they weren't. It was something that I took care of for them.
How many jobs?
It's in the presentation if you read it. I think it's 45 to 54.
All I've got a copy of, I think, is a resolution.
Well, you.
We had it last.
Yeah, that was in the package last
Yes,
one.
yeah, it was emailed out to you.
I have an extra copy, Jimmy. Do you
All
want
right.
it?
45 full-time jobs,
Yes, sir, yeah.
all full-time.
Jimmy, I can't really state the exact number. It'll be somewhere between 45 and 54, neither could they.
Where else do they have grocery stores?
They're a $500 million private-owned market cap company. They got grocery stores in Arkansas. They've just recently bought 2 in South Louisiana. They're in Oklahoma, Missouri, as well as, I want to say they're in Arkansas. Basically, this little area right around here, maybe Georgia. I'm not real sure exactly.
All small towns such as Stonewall?
Yes, sir. That's what their primary niche. We can't afford, or we don't have economic viability to do a bigger grocery store. That's what they target in, is small town. As I said in the previous meeting, they're employee owned. So every employee that works there has incentive plans that they make money on, and retirement program on being employed by Harps.
Okay, cause I just wanna make sure we gonna get the benefit, cause it's the taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah, and we outlined that first year's future forecast for you. I mean, it's basically this, is you can take taxes from me of your proportionate share of $1,300 a year, or you can take north of $100,000 of projected sales tax revenue to the police district.
Yep,
And I ran some numbers for y'all, just based on the construction cost, and really, the sales tax is not gonna be the long-term. Long-term, it will be better, but property tax, you're gonna get, the jury will get approximately now this is based on the construction cost, and understand I'm extrapolating from some information that Justin probably doesn't know, maybe the store doesn't know, but based on the layout and everything they gave us.
Yeah.
Total of all taxes over 15 years will be about $324,000. That's property tax, and that's property tax and sales tax, immediate sales tax that can be calculated. I don't know what their future tax calculations will be. It's based on how many groceries they sell. So
yeah.
the
I
more
know
business they
that's
do,
what- That's
right.
what bothered me.
So,
And you saying 15 years, that's what we get in 15 years?
over 15 years. That's what you'll get
Over
over 15 years, because I believe the property tax portion, the abatement is, in the term sheet said 15 years, right? Right.
Okay, when you say the property tax portion, explain that to me.
Well, you have a sales tax and you have a property tax. There's a sales tax discount that they get because it's a public trust. They're getting that for the construction portion only of this store. So for, if the store takes a year to construct, if it takes 2 years, there's no sales tax that's going to be reaped. I mean, they, up to 1.2 million. And Justin, jump in anytime if I'm wrong about any of this information, but there's a tax exemption on the sales tax, and then there's a property tax abatement over a 15-year time period, a 50-50. Difference between this one and Seamless, which is a project that we've already done, we've already supported, is Seamless is getting an 80-20 property tax abatement over, I want to say it was 20 years. This one is a 15-year abatement at 50% abatement. So it's a less of an abatement for property taxes. So that's the difference.
Any more questions? Please vote if there's no more questions.
I don't know yet.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn from the administrative meeting.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Raines and a second by Mr. Baker. All in favor, aye? Aye. We'll adjourn. We shortly go into a recess before the budget committee meeting.
Oh, this just item they add to the special meeting.
Ma'am.
This just an item they came back and added to the special meeting. I mean, to this workshop.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope I made a good.
You did okay.
Just need to wait on somebody.
He wasn't there.
One. Okay, I'm good.
It's
I mean, I
a
don't mind
deal.
getting no groceries though, but. The rest
Yeah, Mr. Baker, you ready?
Okey dokey.
Richard ain't got
Yeah, good. He ain't trying to pull up first.
it. I'll watch it too. I don't think he knows if everybody's ready.
I really didn't. I'm ready.
I got a committee. You start.
Yeah, we ready. Whenever you are.
Oh, man. We'll call the Budget and Finance Committee to order. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any guest or public comments? Hearing none. Budget and finance items for the 2025 general fund. Ms. Lilly?
Good evening. I'll go over the first page. The projected balance beginning for 2025 is $12,885,452. Total projected revenues at $9,684,502. The budgeted expenses, legislative, $460,238. Judicial, $1,709,021. Elections, $169,981. Finance and administration, $3,117,226. Other general, which is your maintenance department, is $1,339,267. Public safety, $199,483. Culture and recreation, $92,502. Health and welfare, $403,312. Community development, $906,112. Your capital outlays, which include projects, vehicles, and equipment, come to $1,959,360. Total expenditures come to $10,356,503. We have transfers out for $682,000. 120 of that is to OCS. The remaining is for animal services. Your net decrease in fund balance is $1,354,000 with $1. The projected fund balance at the end of 2025 is $11,531,452. Our 4th-month operating expense contingency, it's at $2,788,706. On your revenue portion of the worksheet that y'all have gotten, I'm just gonna cover some highlights on here, and I'll stop at every section of this, and if y'all have questions that I need to go into detail, let me know. Ad valorem, our projected proposal for 2025 is $4,256,791. That's coming from the tax assessor's information. Severance tax, I'm budgeting that at $873,000 based on where we'll end up at the end of 2024. Your interest on investment gains of sales and investments, I'm projecting those at $150,000 and then $280 for the investments, just based on where we'll end up at the end of the year. all the rest of them are staying consistent with what we budget in 2024. On the next page, the parish royalty fund, we had originally budgeted 600,000. We're only gonna be at 247,636 at the end of the year, so I'm proposing 250 for next year. This is lower than expected due to the industry. This is based on 1/10 of the royalties from mineral leases, and revenues are provided from the state. The state sends us that money every month or quarterly, and those figures are provided to the state from the Department of Energy and Natural Resources. So we just did not have a good year. So I'm budgeting 250,000. On your state grant for Louisiana, we're expected to be at 227,740 for next year, projected 750,000. That is both the LGAP and the CWEF. We're carrying the 2023-24 CWEF for North DeSoto, that we can get up to 100 grand for that. For the 2024-2025 CWEF, it is up to 350,000. And that next online for that is the East DeSoto water system. The LGAP is projected to be up to 300,000. I checked into this, and this is one of the grants that can be used for sewer systems. So when we get to the capital outlay, I'll kind of cover a little bit more on that. Both grants, the applications are due in February, but we did, like I said, we received a letter. Those are the amounts that they're up to, so I'm budgeting 750,000. On the federal, for the Section 8 transportation, that's your Council on Aging, we're jumping from 120,000 budgeted this year to $286,712. They received an additional grant this year for 2025 that would allow them to purchase a bus. So that is an in and out. Whatever we receive, we pay back out to the Council on Aging. So total revenues projected for 2025 is $9,684,502. Does anybody have questions on the revenue section before I move to the expense? On the expense side, I'm just gonna go by the divisions, the legislative. Just to point out, the group insurance went down for 2024. I am projecting 130,900 for next year. That is due to additional members joining the plan. And then the only other thing I want to point out, the travel and convention expense, budgeting an additional 10,000 from 20,000 to 30,000. Adding that due to the interest of more people wanting to attend the national conference next year. And then I added an additional line for security for 2,500. We have been paying for the security for the meetings. The deputies are here during our meetings. We've been paying that out of the office expense in the administrative budget. So I just added that into the legislative portion of that. The total expenses for 2025 is $460,238. Just wanted to point out that we will be a little bit below budgeted amount for 2024. Does anybody have a question on this portion before I move on? The judicial for salaries, the court, the DA clerical staff, and registered voters, they're asking to be included on the 2.5 proposed COLA. So you can see on their salaries, the proposed salaries for the court is at $150,067. Sometimes they give lower than whatever our COLA is, but they do never go above whatever we give our employees if y'all approve the COLA. Want to point out too, the group insurance went down. So next year I'm budgeting $25,735. This year we had $31,000, so it went down about $6,000. Court security, I'm bumping that from $180,000 to $210,000. That's just been an increase on security at the court when they have their cases. Want to point out too, the group insurance for the DA, that actually went down too, from $203,700 to next year projecting $169,000 for the year. And then additionally, the fleet and expense for the coroners on the next page, on page 4, you can see that we don't have an expense for next year. We bought the vehicle this year for the coroner's office, so that is a decrease on expense for the lease program. Does anybody have questions on the traditional portion? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm talking to myself.
Oh, okay. Making sure I'm not overlooking you. On the elections portion of it, like I stated before, we are proposing the 2.5 COLA in here with our additional employees. Now, on here on the salaries, you see the jump from 43,664 for this year to 55,050 for next year. If y'all remember, she got an extra employee in August that was approved by the state, so that includes now 3 full-time employees and a part-time employee. Next, that I just want to point out, the election expense. We amended the budget this year. Still, I think we may be a little bit over, projecting to be at $115,926. We don't get the actual bill for the elections until late February, early March, so it's just kind of hard to tell. I am proposing $60,000 for next year. We will be having that spring election. I'm only proposing 60 because it's not a parish-wide election, so it'll be less precincts and everything else.
So there's no regularly scheduled election for the fall next year?
Correct. Like I said, if that changes, of course, we'll come back and we'll have to ask for an amendment. The office expense, if you see what I've done is I broke that down into 3 categories: actual office supplies, and then anything copier technology related. And then I put a line item for OTA's mailing services. This is some mailing services that the state is now asking the registered voters. They send out, and maybe Amanda can go more into detail on that if y'all have any questions. But we now have to contract those services out where they mail different ballots or just different little cards on registration and all that. But we're having to pay for that expense. So it's something the state is making us do, but there's no budget for it, so we have to pay it. So that's what that amount is for.
Let me ask you this, because you keep saying the state make us do this. Do the state pay anything for rest? When the state gonna start coming up with
They
some
pay
money?
stuff, but that's like anything else. There's lots of stuff that it's, mandate stuff without no funding. Unfunded mandates is what they call it.
That's what they call it, unfunded mandates.
Well, I wish the state to start sending us some of our money we send down there back up here.
I 100% agree with you.
Only other thing, it's the travel and convention. I increased that a little bit. That is due to their annual conference next year that is going to be based in Utah, I believe. And an extra employee going. Does anybody have questions on the election portion of it?
Yeah, I'm just wondering though, for real, I'm serious about that. Do the state ever start paying for anything? Cause we just be hearing the state costing us
Do you,
dearly.
do you want me to tell you the parts they do pay for? They do pay a good bit of things. It's not all on
They
it,
do.
but it's just,
I mean, cause she said the state gave them a extra, employee, did the state paying for them?
Paying for a portion of it.
Half of it.
Yes, it pays for
Half
a
of it.
portion.
Half of it.
they pay half of all of our salaries.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make they coughing up something. Cause the state look like they killing us. And then we send all that money down there and they wanna give us chump change.
If anybody else have questions, I'm moving into the finance, which is on page 5. Salaries for finance, proposing 1.5. That includes the 2.5 COLA, some step increases for eligible employees, and it includes the additional position for a nuisance abatement officer. I want to point out too that the projected ending balance for that is $1,410,819. A little bit over the original budget, and I'll just let y'all know that we had that comp study that was done at the end of last year. So that came right after budget season, and I just overlooked amending the budget for how much that actually cost us. So that's why that's the difference there. But for 2025, like I said, it includes an additional proposed position for the nuisance abatement officer. As you can see, the group insurance, like I said, it did go down from $256,000 for this year to $247,000 projected for next year. So that's a little bit of a decrease. And then you'll see a line item for the nuisance abatement services for $200,000. This is a budget to contract out the cleaning services based on whatever violations are going to be determined by said nuisance officers, whether that be cutting grass, demolition, or getting rid of any type of a nuisance abatement out there. So that's an additional $200,000 that's added to the finance budget portion of it. As you can see, the fleet expense, we cut that pretty much in half. Our original budget for 2024 was $27,000. We're dropping down to $15,000. That is due to us purchasing some vehicles, and you will see on the vehicle and equipment portion of the budget that we're proposing to buy some additional vehicles in order to phase out the lease agreement. We also are increasing the travel and convention expense to $25,000. That is adding a lot of different staff wanting to do different trainings and so forth. Does anybody have questions on the finance and governmental side?
Yes, on the first line item, the salaries and administrative, he's talking about the 2.5 or 2.0 COLA. Have anybody ever asked you to factor in just $1?
Not since I've been here. We have always based it on a percentage.
Okay.
Yes. But I mean, I will leave that completely up to this body to decide. 2.5 is what we came up with as far as management. We looked at the labor statistics just to see what that would be, and it was actually way higher than 2.5. Me and Mr. Norton decided on that 2.5 just based on we did have the comp study, and then we did have an additional savings on the insurance, and that's kind of where we felt like 2.5 was a good place to put.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody have questions before I move into the maintenance part of it?
And I want to point out something related to the nuisance officer. We have a position, we've budgeted for that. We have a position. We'll be presenting that to the Personnel Committee for y'all to approve that position, the job description and everything. in December. So we would have done it earlier, but we didn't get that stuff rated in time. So it'll be coming to you.
So it's not included in the $200,000.
No, the position is included in the 1.5.
salary.
It's in salaries.
So it's already in the salary.
Yeah, it's already in
Salary,
there,
okay.
but we're gonna bring the position to y'all
And
so
it's-
y'all can look at that.
And it is budgeted at the highest pay.
Level.
Right.
Yes, but the 200,000 it's like I said, it's for the services that inspector's gonna either contract out or send whomever out there to clean up.
What's the overtime? How much overtime?
And a lot of this overtime, I have to go back and refigure because we did have the balloon festival. A lot of people that worked that festival was paid overtime on that, so I have to shift that to the balloon expense side of it. But right now, we have our hourly employees that if they stay for the meetings, we have our new engineer tech aide that if he's having to have a job out there that may go over the 8 hour and he may have to come during the weekends or whatever that job entail, that construction job. So that's a lot of the overtime on that.
And the professional fees?
Professional fees, this is where we pay in our attorney fees. It's at $350 right now, just with that redistricting case that we have going on. This is where we pay Delta Resources for their services. We paid the other company that helps us with our lease and royalties agreements just to make sure we're up to date on everybody doing what they're supposed to do as far as the companies. Whenever y'all get new companies, that they come through us and they want to go through the state for lease and all that kind of stuff. That's where all those management fees come out of. But the majority right now that is so high is just with the attorney fees. Any other questions?
I've got a question, may not be time to speak. I just saw something I was curious about.
Well, could you come up and state your name and speak into the microphone, please?
My name is Huel Jones. Anybody that doesn't know me. I was just looking, I saw the video poker line, City of Mansfield, $20,000 a year. I was just curious what that was.
That is the revenue we receive from video poker revenue. We share that with Mansfield because that location is in the city of Mansfield.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
that's
They get a
monies that
portion.
come in and we share that with the city.
Correct.
I got you,
Correct.
I got
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
I just, it kind of stuck out. I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, I'll move on to the other governmental, which, like I said, it's your building and maintenance. Salaries projected or proposed at $350,234. That includes a 2.5 COLA, step increases for eligible employees, and it includes the succession plan for when the superintendent retires next year. So that's all included on how that's going to affect if whomever takes that position. I think Mr. Norton's planning to bring y'all something in December concerning that that position and how he plans to do that succession plan. But that's why it's at $350,234. Again, like I said, the comp study was right after budget season last year, so we did not account for that in the budget for this year. The group insurance for the maintenance department, you see a drop from $78,000 to $68,000 for next year, so that's about $10,000 savings. The lease expense, we're cutting that pretty much in half too, from $31,000 to $12,000. And like I say, you'll see on the list of vehicles of what we're projecting or asking y'all to approve for next year. Insurance for workman's comp and surety and bonds, increasing that to about $190. I am still waiting on our broker to give me a proposal. So I will be checking back with them, but I should have something for y'all in December. Building and maintenance, I'm bumping that from 270,000 to 350,000. It's just we keep on having some building issues. I mean, a lot of our buildings are old, and if it's not water pipe breaking, it's, air condition issues or just lots of different issues at all the buildings that we have. The total for that section, it's 1,339,266. I don't have anything else to pinpoint on that unless y'all have some specific questions.
Ms. Garcia, you don't have a breakdown of all the buildings that we have, or the maintenance and the cost that each one of them require?
I do not, but I can work on something for y'all.
Okay,
I
no
think
hurry,
we do have about 58 buildings, 54
We have
buildings.
54 buildings we're responsible for. That doesn't mean,
That doesn't mean we own them. It's just that's how many we have several community centers and stuff that we do maintenance on from different stuff. And then when you have your parks, but I mean, I can start to put together a list for you and then just start to break that down, even for next year, just trying to start creating a spreadsheet of which building, what we're spending on each one.
Okay. Yeah,
But a lot of the stuff like, our animal control or road departments, they have a small building and maintenance budget for small repairs, but anything drastic gets pulled out of here.
and also your health unit comes out of here, registrar of voters office, the,
Council on Aging.
council on aging, all the ancillary buildings we have all come out of the general fund.
Yeah, and it's not just building and repairs though. I mean, it's your maintenance, your landscaping, janitorial supplies, cleaning crew that goes out and cleans the buildings. It's everything related to taking care of the building, not just fixing repairs. But like I said, this year we have had several issues that had to be, fixed. So.
There's old saying, start spending a lot of money on fixing them. It might be time to get rid of them, get something new.
I will certainly start putting a list together for next year for you. That way I can have that available for y'all to be able to track it better.
Okay.
Okay.
That'd be good.
On the public and safety, this is just the Office of Motor Vehicles, what we paid for the utilities and maintenance of that building. The fire protection rebate, estimated $184,483. This is an in and out. We received this in June, July, and it gets paid out to all the fire departments. But you see that on your revenue section too, so it's pretty much a wash. Your next section on page 7, your culture and recreation. This is our parks, our salary for parking attendants. We do have a 2.5 COLA in there. And then the alumni expenses, I'm bumping that to 22,000 just based on where we've been this year of just having to do extra maintenance on there. I think we added the landscaping services out there so they can take care of the flower beds out there. And then just want to point out the Garrett Park expenses. That was way down, so I'm dropping that to about 6,000. Overall for that, we budget 92,502. Any questions on that? Moving on to the health and welfare section of it. The grants for Council on Aging Section 8. Like I said, they got an additional grant to buy a van. That's an in and out. We're budgeting $286,712, but it's the same budget that we put on the revenue side to offset that. And then for the handicap ramps, putting $44,000. on the books. We have spent about $21,930 for this year, or expected to spend that. I think not everybody has used their funds. And like we talked before, if you don't use it this year, then next year you just get your additional two. You don't get to carry what you didn't use this year.
You don't? I thought we did.
No, ma'am, you get two a year. You either spend it or not spend it. So, but you get two additional for the next year. It's the same thing with the handicap driveways. So, like I said, it's $44,000. You will see this as part of the portion of your grants when you get to that page.
Apparently not.
Any questions on this before I move to the community development?
Man, when we started doing that, I thought they used to roll over. This something new, huh?
No, ma'am, it's
No, they've
always been
never-
this way.
Never rolled over.
They've never rolled over.
Now, you can borrow from someone else if you use yours up.
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
You mentioned handicap driveways also, but they're not on this section.
That's on the road department
Don't we
budget.
put those in this section also?
We could, I mean, that's always been the case that
It's because the road department
pretty much
performs the work on
performs the
those.
work.
Who does the work on the handicap ramp?
We outsource that to a local contractor.
I still think it ought to be a part of this expenditure, even if the road department does do it. Whatever the road department spends, plus their time and labor should all be in on this, I think.
Well, it is, but there's a line item in the road budget. It's called handicap
handicap
driveways.
driveways.
This is just in the general fund handicap ramps because it's our maintenance department who's always coordinated that and set that up. The road department has always coordinated and done the handicap driveways.
Man, look,
Any other questions on that? The community development, the only thing is that I just want to point out is the grants non-governmental for this year. The total that we spent was $159,800. As you can see, I don't have anything proposed for 2025. You have the letters of every request that was made to me, has a backup, and it's on a separate page. This year's request on that page is for the non-governmental, it's $126,600. Plus, the city of Mansfield was asking for a monetary contribution, but there was no amount listed on that letter. So, but all the rest of the other ones total to $126,600. Like I said, they are not included in this figure. I have a place for that, just with however y'all want to go to that when we get to that page. I can make adjustments. I can leave it like that, or it will be at your discretion of what we need to do. Does anybody have any questions on that community development section before we move into the capital outlay for equipment and vehicles?
is this Sarah, ag agent and assistant, is this part of this report?
Is this for women?
Hmm?
It's for what? I'm sorry, I didn't.
On the community, it says Sarah, ag agent. and
That is
assistant.
the salary that we pay to the, what is that called?
LSU
The
Ag Center.
LSU Agriculture.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. There we go again with the state. We paying more salaries for the state, for state agencies. I have a problem with that. Do the state help contribute to anything, Mr. Norton?
Well, that's only about 35% from ours of the
Of
salary.
his
We only pay
salary.
for about 35% of the salary.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at it right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, and I believe we signed a contract, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, about a year and a half ago, or it's been a while where we renewed that contract with him.
Right.
And that came to the jury.
That's what I'm saying. 35%.
Moving on,
You saying we pay 35% of this figure here?
No, that is
no,
the
ma'am, that is what we
35%.
paid.
You gotta spend it to get rid
We pay the $34,500 a year.
See, I just got a problem. You told me I had to
But
pay.
like I said, I mean, that was a contract that was put before, and y'all voted for this, and it's been a while back, but we do have an agreement.
But how long? How long that contract made?
I do not recall, but I can find that agreement and let you know.
Please,
But
ma'am.
it like I said, it specify in there the salary. So I'll get a copy for you, Ms. Burrell. On the capital outlay for equipment, the total is $263,905. What we have listed there is vehicles, 5 vehicles. It's F-150s, regular cab, and 2 crew cabs, and then a mid-side SUV for Edge. These are for administration. One is for the health inspector. We provide their vehicle, and then we have a vehicle for, and these are all vehicles that are gonna expire next year through the lease. So it's either we buy them or we have to renew the lease. One is for, 2 of those are for our engineering department, and one is for the IT department. That comes to $228,000. For the equipment, we have a digital recording system. This is something that the judge has asked for, and I put back up on all this information. I put back up on that. I think that system's pretty old, and she's trying to hold off until next year to be able to pull the trigger, but she's having some issues, and it's not being compatible to what she has. The requested amount for that is $35,905. Anybody have questions on the equipment on vehicle section? Okay, moving on to the capital outlay. You should have a sheet with all the proposed projects and the projects that were rolling over from this year that we have not kicked off. The total for these projects for 2025, it's $1,695,455. Out of that, $815,000 was already approved in 2024. One of the new ones for 2025, it's a Hoopla Park playground equipment, estimated at $100,000. And you had backup on that information of where those numbers are coming from. Sports complex, we were requested to replace the backstops in all the fields out there. I think every field is different amounts, but the total on that came to $217,325. Then the alumni park, the splash pass additions for $190,000. That was already approved in 2024. The KCS City sewer project, you can see, I think I had a backup from the engineer that project, the total cost of that project came to $532,600. $250,000 has already been approved. $100,000 of that was with the ARPA money. Now we are requesting $282,600 for 2025 to come out of the jury's funding. But I just wanted to let y'all know, like I said, we talked to the state. LGAP is estimated to be about $300,000 for 2025, which that application, like I stated before, is due in February. So and we always get the LGAP grant. So it's not a matter if we will get the grant, it's just a matter of how much money we will actually receive. I mean, when they tell you up to $300,000, doesn't necessarily mean you'll get all that. But we were proposing, like I said, if y'all would budget that amount out of the general fund and then just,
Place it.
you know, hope that we get the L gap to offset some of that cost. Because right now y'all haven't said where we're gonna spend that L gap money yet. I think our grant coordinator comes back to y'all when he submits that application to get approval from y'all on how we want to allocate this money. So like I said, we checked with the state yesterday just to make sure this is a project we have going on. Does this qualify? And the answer to that was yes.
Okay.
So just an idea that I'm throwing to y'all out there that yes, it's $532,600. But if we were to budget that amount, there is some potential funding that we can offset that extra request for 2025. For the main office, we have a IT directory migration to the cloud services, and that's at $23,530. The registered voters, we have the awning and some office renovations. The majority of the office renovation is for her additional person, and then some awnings around the building. That's at $50,000. Like I said, y'all have backup on where those prices are coming from. The courthouse, the boiler system, this was approved in 2024 for $200,000. Working on that, I think building maintenance met with some contractors just to determine what the best options for that is, and hoping to actually kick that off next year, early next year. The 4-H building parking lot, earlier this year we had approved $175,000. I was told this afternoon that project is on hold, so that would be something Mr. Norton can shed more light into that if y'all have questions on that. And then we have the DeSoto courthouse basement on the fourth floor, clerk of court renovations for $57,000. And then I have Stonewall Park, a splash pad for $150,000. Total projects come to $1.695,455. Any questions or discussion on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sports complex. Who gonna do this work who gonna do this work, Mr. Norton?
The DeSoto Athletics is get quotes from contractors to do this work, and that was in your packet.
I didn't get a package, so.
It's in this packet.
It's still in your pocket right now. You should have a copy.
Like to look at, I told you I like to look at it. So they not gonna do the work. It's gonna actually be some contractors do this work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm asking this because we started investing money into this park when we trying to develop a sports complex, period. And I'm trying to see, nobody's never moving on that. And I've asked, but nobody ever moving on this. But we started spending this kind of money on the 4-H building, on this park, but nobody's never trying to do something for all the people. And I've been trying to do this since I became a police year. And I'm just wondering how we keep just investing this money instead of trying to invest in all the other stuff that I like to see up there at that park.
Ms. Burrell, if you bring it up and the jury votes on it, we will go on it. We will move on
The
it.
jury did vote on it. I brought it up, the jury voted on it, but nobody's ever moved on it. Didn't y'all vote on it? Yes, sir.
On building a sports complex? No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I don't believe y'all voted on building a sports complex.
Yes, we did, Mr. Norton.
Okay.
I think what you're talking about, we had plans developed to look at it, but it was not actually voted.
They voted to look into the plans for a sports complex. Yes, sir, yes, we did. Did we not, Jody?
That's been a few years ago.
I mean, if y'all did that before my time, but I've had no mandate from this jury to invest and look into developing and building a sports complex. And that's a pretty broad term.
Okay.
If the jury gives me instructions to do that, I will do it.
Okay, we spent thousands of dollars.
Actually, y'all spent probably a little over $2 million in developing some stuff in the
That's
past
right.
15 years.
In developing this part, we used to be a thing up on this wall. Yep, before you got here, used to be
ma'am.
pictures on this wall of this very thing. And we did vote to do that, but it just got swept right up under the rug.
Actually, I think the vote was not to fund that because it was like a $60 million project.
No, sir. No, we didn't.
And I think.
I'll
it
have
was
to research the
parish-wide.
minutes on that, but
It was parish
I don't-
wide when we
If-
did that.
And then,
All the areas
the
for
million
parks.
supposed to be coming back so we could break down this, to figure out, for a matter of fact, we spend money on 2-3 different,
I know it was.
Designs.
I've looked at those over the past 15, 20 years, and y'all spent probably in excess of $2 million on planning, but y'all never actually moved forward with
With
funding those
developing.
projects. So, again, if the jury votes to do that, I will do that. But the jury has to vote on that. And since I've been here, y'all haven't voted to do that.
yes, we did. We
Okay.
voted to do that. It just didn't ever get done, but we did vote. Did we not vote to do that, Mr. Faker?
I can't answer that question for sure. Miss Jerry, I don't really remember which way we voted on that. Some of it got voted for and some of it did not.
And y'all asked me to look into a sales tax, and I gave y'all information at, I think, a couple meetings ago about what it would cost to, how much money you would get from doing a sales tax for parks and recreation type sales tax, and I gave that to y'all. But that's the only thing that I know related to a sports complex.
Okay. I'm asking, cause see, that's my district, and the people up there wanna see one, they wanna see it, and they asking me.
Well,
So I'm asking the
I have a
jury.
question. If the sports complex is owned by the jury and the replacement of the backstops on the fields are for this is for the public, so this is for the people, right?
No,
It's not.
Let's
Okay,
be
I'm
honest.
sorry then.
let's be honest about it. Yeah, it's supposed to be for the people, but we have to follow certain people's rules. We have to allow these people, we have to allow DeSoto Athletics. Only can the people use it if they're not, which is not very often. The people can use same thing with the 4-H building.
But-
I mean, reinvest the people's money into it only if the 4-Hers are not doing something.
Ms.
Then
Burrell,
the people can use
we're talking about
that.
the sports complex, not the 4-H. I'm specifically saying if this jury votes to do that, I will do what this jury votes to do, but I don't have, y'all voted to let DeSoto Athletics do what they do out there. We have a contract
Now, you
with
always
them.
say y'all vote. No, y'all didn't vote that, cause I didn't.
My apologies. The jury voted to
Yeah.
do that.
Just say the majority of the jury, cause
Yes, ma'am.
y'all didn't.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cause I always thought it should be used, be open to the public, for the people. It's their tax dollars, not ours. And just having these certain groups of people that controlling these monies, these places that all the taxpayers paying for. I'm sorry, Mr. Norton, but I'm not for that. I believe the taxpayers should be able to use whatever facility.
I don't disagree with
paying
you.
for
I
it.
don't disagree with you. I know you're not for that. You're on the record for not being for that, so. But I don't work for just one juror. I work for this entire body. So if y'all vote on something, I will do it for you.
So what you telling me, I need to put on the agenda to get a vote on?
Ms. Burrell, you are your own person. You do what you want to do.
Okay, you right, just like you do what you want to do.
Like I said, the capital outlay for the projects is 1.695,455. Y'all see that in the budget proposed on page 7. On page 8, you have the transfers out, the 120,000 to OCS, and the transfer to animal services for 562,000 that was proposed at those budget meetings, and didn't have any changes to those amounts. So with that, with everything included in here, like I said, you have a net change in the fund balance, a decrease of 1,354.92. The estimated ending fund balance is 11,531,451. Just keep in mind that fund balance is decreasing to a large part of that is that transfer for the detention facility. The last page I have for y'all to look at is the requests that were made for the grants on that special programs for the handicap ramps. That is already included in the budget. Y'all saw the line item for that. And then the 750,000 that's included in the grants, governmental grants. That is the LGAP and the CWEF grants. The middle portion, that $126,600, that is the total request. And y'all have a list of the organizations that submitted a letter with those amounts. That is not currently in the budget. So y'all can decide whether you want to fund some of them, you want to fund none of them, or you want to give them a certain amount to all of them. I would just need guidance on what we need to do in case I need to refigure the sheets before I propose the whole budget. It has a whole to the police jury, to all of the members, which I plan to do that at the December meeting, a special meeting right after y'all's committee meetings. I think December 2nd, I believe it is. That gives me enough time to give y'all a proposed budget, and then we need to meet a 10-day period of where the public can come and inspect that before we can adopt it at the December regular meeting. So that's kind of where we're leading into. So anybody have questions or discussion on the grants?
You talking about this section in the middle is what we can change if we so choose?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair,
2025.
Yes, on the 2024 column, that is all that was paid this year that either we budgeted early last year or we amended the budget throughout the year.
Okay.
And y'all should all have copies of those letters of all the requests that I received. I did not receive anything from the multicultural summer recreation program or the operations on that. That's the only one that
Yeah,
I
you
did
got
not
one
get
right
anything.
You got one on the multicultural center?
That's last year's amount.
That was last year's.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody else, I did get a letter, or, one of the jurors, somebody called and said to add this. Now, the city of Mansfield, like I told y'all before, y'all do have a letter there. They didn't specify an amount, so it's in this list, but there's no amount to it, so.
on that particular item, I just wait until they find an amount and present it back to us on that part of it.
That's the one with the statue.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine and blue. I would think they would be able to find significant private donors.
True.
For that, since he was so popular.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
I got just a suggestion. on all the festivals, parades, so forth, I want to say a 5,000 max for each one. Up to $5,000 max.
I know, I'll make that motion.
What is that,
And plug those numbers in.
that's for
Like
All the
cruise,
parades,
parades?
Christmas
and
festivals.
festivals.
Okay. Okay.
Christmas festival.
up to $5,000 max.
So you wanna make it up to 5, you don't, if they ask for 25, you don't wanna just give them
Up to
5.
5,000
To
max
5,000.
Up to.
for the parades and festivals.
Okay.
Up to.
I don't agree with that. Cause it takes some folks more to host this than others. It really does. I've been volunteering, so I know that firsthand.
Okay, so we're gonna budget 5, but when like the crew of Aquarius comes and they ask, we only need 35.
Yeah,
Gonna
they
have a
get-
CEA,
So they-
Right,
we're
get
just gonna give them
35.
35. Okay, I'm just good. I wanna
Right.
make sure we're clear on that.
He's saying a $35,000 max.
No,
No.
3,500. Well, he
35.
talking about 3,500, what they asking for.
I'm talking about what you said.
5,000
You saying
max.
maximum for everybody.
Yeah,
I know that's what you saying.
yeah. Up to 5,000
Up to 5, but if their request, like, I have the request, like you said, 3,500, they only get 3,500.
Right.
So, where does DeSoto Bible Charity fall into this? Because I think that's one that's not a festival. And then you got the water conservation is not a festival, and habilitation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Only festivals and parades. The other ones, they can stay the same.
Okay.
That's doing more than a parade and a festival.
Did we get a list, from the DeSoto Habilitation?
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
sir.
It's
Is it
one
in
in
here?
here.
Yes,
And I
sir.
help them with the board, and one thing that I'm on the board, but one thing that the monies that were given to them last year, every dime for dime is accounted for.
Yes.
Every ticket, every receipt, everything.
And
Yes.
I just want to commend them on doing an
I
excellent
stay-
job at
Stay on top of it.
presenting what they're actually doing with the program.
Exactly.
I mean,
And-
yeah, I mean, I don't have no problem with that part. It's some of these people though, some of these, do we hold them accountable? Do they actually turn in every receipt, what
Yes,
they
ma'am,
doing?
we
They're
do.
supposed to, because I know, like I said, I have Miss Pat, she will call Liliana, she will ask her, she will call me, and we have a separate binder of everything to the cent of what was, the money that was given and what it was used for. So, yeah, they, very thorough records there.
Oh, I ain't talking about them, baby.
Oh,
I wasn't talking about them.
okay. I was like, bring out the book.
What's the fire district number 1? What are their request for?
That is their fireworks show, I believe.
Okay.
Let me make sure.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Did you want us to vote on that you wanted to do?
Yeah,
Yes, if you would. I'm not on your committee.
okay.
Could I get would you say that again that you wanted so somebody on the committee could turn it into a motion?
For festivals and parades only, max up to $5,000.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do you have something written up, Miss Jody? Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the committee please vote now?
This what we gonna bring to be voted on in the regular meeting? This
Yes, ma'am.
motion?
Yes.
Cause we gonna have the opportunity
It's gonna come out in the regular meeting.
to, okay.
Now, these, we'll go down a list real quick because even though we set that don't mean we approve them.
Right.
So, DeSoto Habilitation, they're asking for $40,600. What does the committee choose to do?
I have to abstain.
Just say aye. Aye or nay?
Say,
What do you wanna do?
yeah, you just give me an aye, yes or no.
Approve, aye.
You approve, Mr. Jones?
I approve.
And I approve, so we'll do that one. DeSoto Fire District 1 for $2,500.
Aye.
Aye.
And I. River City Festival for Town of Logansport for $5,000.
Aye.
Aye.
And I.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I mean, interrupt, but didn't we have a set figure for those festivals at one time?
No.
You remember?
Well, that's basically what we just did was set a festival
I mean,
price.
prior to this, I thought we had a set figure for how much we would give to festivals within in these cities or townships.
That might have been 2,500, the readings up there with the asked for.
Okay, I
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Say what now?
You saying it was possibly set
Yeah,
at
possibly.
20?
It was 2,500 back in the years that we agreed to do.
Oh,
I don't really remember that, but I could be wrong.
Oh.
Seem like I remember.
So we used, some of these folks used to get more than that.
No.
Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Rodriguez. Yes, they did.
Anyway,
Okay, Mr. Chair, you can go ahead.
for the crew of Aquarius, I believe that's what that is, for
Yes.
$3,500.
aye.
Aye.
And I. Logan Sport Christmas Festival for $2,500.
Aye.
Aye.
And I. Stonewall Christmas Parade for $2,500.
Aye.
Aye.
And you have a Juneteenth celebration that would be for $5,000.
Oh, we voting on, okay, aye.
Aye.
And I. And the rest of these, DeSoto Soil and Water Conservation District, they're asking for $20,000.
Aye.
Aye.
And I.
What are they asking for?
Water
It's on
conservation.
the,
What are they
So
planning on using?
so they rent out discs and things for farmers to plow at a low cost. And they help people, with water, the way the water drains, so they help with, tractor implements and tractors to rent. So they need to hire someone that can maintain that stuff. So that's what they're asking that for, from what I understand.
And also hog eradication.
Yeah, so they're the people that
Oh,
brought,
oh.
yeah, they're the people that
Right,
brought.
they're the ones who put us in touch with USDA to do the hog.
So they saved us,
Wait,
they
wait, wait,
saved
wait.
us probably.
Let's clarify.
100,000.
They don't do that.
No, they put us in touch with,
They-
they made the
state does
connection
that.
for it.
Right.
Right. But I think they do have one trap or two they sell.
Yeah, and they do, they rent traps out too, yeah, they rent traps out to people at real low cost, so to maintain that stuff, they need someone, to pay someone to do that.
DeSoto Parish, who wants to?
It is DeSoto.
Oh,
Where was that at?
DeSoto Soil and Water Conservation.
I think we were at Mr. Ernell.
Ernell.
I'm sorry?
DeSoto Water Conservation District,
Oh, the vote, yes. So
okay. Battle at Pleasant Hill, $5,000.
Aye.
Aye.
Is that in That's in,
DeSoto Parish.
in the Soda Parish?
Yes, sir.
Mansfield.
Asked about that for
Yeah.
It's in, it's in Pleasant, I'm thinking.
Right there on the line,
It's right on the line.
right on the line.
It's on this side of the line, it's on that side.
It's on the other side. I'm from
Part of it,
all
maybe.
my life, that's Pleasant
All
Hill.
right,
No.
Okay, and DeSoto Bible Charity at the KCS Community Center,
Aye.
Aye.
and that gives you, I don't know how much, about $90-some thousand, doesn't it? You know how much I added up, Lily?
I
Why,
don't.
why didn't you keep up?
I'm half asleep. I'm sorry. I don't have my calculator with me. Have everybody else making notes for me, keeping me in
91,
line.
600.
Is that what
91,
it
600.
is?
91, 600, yeah.
Okay.
let me see, was that all, Mr. Chair?
Yes, that's all we can deal with.
I know City of Mansfield have to, do Christmas lights as well, decoration and things as well. So what, I would like to throw 5,000 for them, City of Mansfield.
I can
Okay.
go with that.
I'm sorry.
We just gonna give it to them?
We can go to the, we
Like
can
we
push
doing the
it,
rest of them.
push it to the meeting and we can talk about it there.
That, or we can just put it on there, it doesn't matter.
Put it on there.
I
and-
feel like we should just put it on there.
Let's
Yeah,
put it
that's
on
what I'm
there.
saying, put it on there. They wanna hash it out.
So
at the
we'll
other
just,
meeting.
Plug it in.
we'll just
Yeah,
plug
plug
it
it
in as soon as Ms. Trina, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And I, okay. That's all we got. Now, I need, get in there.
You used to do that with, you got it this time, the other one, so this will be the one got the last time, right? That's how we be doing.
Yes, but also one of those grants we're going to see about changing the pay for your sewer.
Okay.
A motion to approve the general fund budget
I'll make the motion.
2025.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All those in favor, or please vote now. She has it up. Motion passes. We will, Lily told y'all some, but most of this is now is gonna be fixed so the general public can see it. It will be advertised in the paper. We will, as a jury, when do we vote on?
Well,
Next
we're
week?
gonna, December.
Next week? I'm talking. I know when it's done. When's the meeting, Miss Lily?
I'm looking, let's see. December 2nd, we'll hold a special meeting right after y'all's
We'll hold
committee.
that special meeting.
And then it'll be available to the public after that.
Right.
Y'all have to vote on the proposed budget as a whole, and then the public will have 10 days to inspect it. And then on the 16th, y'all will ratify everything, have the public hearing, and then adopt it on the 16th.
On the first meeting, that's the last time that you'd be allowed to make changes to the budget. And all you'll have to do is make a motion and get somebody to second the motion. And you'll be able to ask for a change. If you don't get the votes, it don't get changed. If you get the votes, you can change it. Okay? That's how it's gonna be done. Make a motion, get it second. Get your votes. If it passes, it passes. On the second meeting that we have, all you're doing is putting the final approval on the budget, and there'll be no changes that night,
Unless it fails.
Oh.
unless the whole budget fails, yes, sir. You're approving or disapproving, if it fails, and then we get to go back and renegotiate the whole budget. Thank y'all for coming. Have a good evening.